Good evening. Now you're adrift in a sea of lights, a foolish villain in an endless chapter. The demons riding behind your eyes, a simple shadow we can fight together. I'll never walk away. Let's kill something.
Number 9 is The Snowman. This is the Christmas special for 2012. I felt this actually a pretty enjoyable episode. I really enjoyed it compared to, of course, the previous year's Christmas one. A lot of people seem to not like this one still. I felt it was quite enjoyable considering it was Killer Snowman in a sense. I felt it wasn't too silly. I mean, there was bits where it was trying to be for more of the kid orientation, with the idea of the Doctor in the clouds, readers on the TARDIS. I like the idea of Clara being in it and all that type of stuff, and a lot of the investigation feel. I like the idea of the Doctor kind of being broken again, not wanting any companions, not doing anything after the traumatized, of losing Amy Royal. I like the idea of that. That makes it that makes that episode instantly more better in that regard. So the emotional connection was much more better in this episode. And even after the ending of it, when he sees Clara, one clever boy, remember me. He has something to strive for you, and he has something to get back in touch with, and to try and find the mystery of Clara. Who is she? Who is this impossible girl? And I liked that within that episode. I thought the villain wasn't too bad. It came a bit of a major part within the second half of season 7, The Great Intelligence. I felt it was a reasonable, funny villain. I liked some of the jokes in the episode. From the acting was perfectly done. From the villain was funny. I thought it was interesting. Killer Snowman didn't bother me in the slightest. I liked some of the mystery, the kind of mystery elements into it. So I felt it was an enjoyable episode for what it was, and I would definitely watch it again. So, The Snowman. 8th place is The Bells of St. John. I felt this was the appropriately well done episode for Clara's first kind of appearance properly as the companion of the Doctor. And like you said, back on modern day Earth, or the idea of the internet's kind of sucking you in, taking your identity, your intelligence, and I do that and introduce the Great Intelligence back again as a villain. I like some of the robots that go out. I think interesting designs, interesting concepts. There is some course continuity errors and there is some problems in places, but again, an enjoyable episode. Nice, interesting, fun action episode for a first companion introduced into the Doctor's crazy world, and it leaves some kind of tingling, kind of to be continued scenes at the end of the episode. I felt it had some interesting ideas. Not too bad episode. I felt it was enjoyable for what it was. I got a kick out of it, and I wanted to see the Doctor back in action again and introducing a new companion back in the TARDIS. So yeah, The Bells of St. John was an enjoyable episode. 7th is High. This is the ghost story within the mansion. I felt it was actually a pretty decent episode for what it was. I like the extra connection with the Doctor and Clara in their adventures, finding out more about each other. I like some of the twists and turns of it, I thought it was appropriate. It was more than just a simple ghost story. It turned to be more than that. I felt that was quite clever. I like the characters, especially the psychic and the investigator that was setting up all the technology and the gadgets and stuff like that. Good actor as well, some other good projects. So I felt it was a fun episode for what it was, but at the same time it wasn't, memorable. It wasn't really what, oh my god kind of thing in a sense. It was a decent episode, better than some of the ones we've had previously, so I was happy for that. So Hyde, pretty decent episode for what it was, better than expected. Number 6 is Dinosaurs on the Spaceship. This was an extremely better episode than I thought it was going to be when I first watched it. This is the second episode after the Asylum of the Daleks, and wow, this was a bit of a risk take. Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, you think it's going to be cheesy, you think it's going to be a bit silly, kind of Jurassic Park rip-off in places, but it actually was a very smart story, and it actually was fun, it was exciting. Nice to see the Doctor back in action again. I love the idea that he wants like a little posse, little gang, so you get to have people from different time periods to help him out. He brought Amy along with his dad as well. I thought that was really fun, really funny. I like the villain also. I like the fact it wasn't the main focus on the dinosaurs. They were just kind of the item. They were the thing, like, okay, there's dinosaurs on the spaceship. Why is the dinosaurs on the spaceship? Who's the villain? What happens to the crew? And I liked the levels of it. I felt it had fun, it had comedy, it had a dark side from the Doctor, which is always good to see on screen. Amy Roy, nice and funny, bouncing off of the cast. I felt this is how you do a Doctor episode properly, and I felt it was very different, and I felt it was very fun for Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. The title alone could scream out fail. But the episode delivered and I was very happy, and I enjoyed it even more second time around watching it. So Dies on a Spaceship, well deserved 6th place. Okay folks, this is my top 5 favourite Doctor Who episodes of season 7. This is my absolute top 5 favourites, so I hope you agree with me upon this. Comment down below for your top 5, let us know your opinions as well. So let's begin. Number 5 is A Town Called Mercy. I felt this was a very well done episode. This is the 3rd episode within the first half of season 7. I felt it was again a much better than I was expecting. I wasn't sure of a Western kind of feel to it, you know, the Doctor being in open Sound America again kind of thing. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out, with a kind of a cyborg kind of hunting them down, killing people, and it was done really well. It had action, a comedy, it had an emotional edge. I felt it again, a dark side of the Doctor. I love the scenes where he's just had enough kind of thing. He's basically putting the bad person in a sense out, you know, in the middle of the desert. Don't get killed, don't care anymore, because he's, you know, showing mercy for the victims. You know, he's had enough. You know, all the Daleks, all these villains, the Master, all the villains he's faced, he's just had enough now. And it's the idea that the Doctor goes along. If the Doctor goes without a companion for too long, he will start to break and he will start to not see the moral compass. And I like the idea of that. It's Amy and Rory, you know, trying to say that, you know, we need you. You're not the Doctor. You do not do this kind of thing. And it's through them and through the Doctor again that he finds his mercy, finds his kindness. And I like the idea that it's a town called Mercy, and it's a place of second chances. And even some of the things in it I felt were very clever. I liked even the cyborg wasn't a dumb kind of killer thing. He was the person that was taken, made into this machine, killing machine, and he wants revenge. And even he finds a redemption, he finds a redeemable purpose later on. And I like some of the sacrifices from the characters, and it was a really well done episode. I think he had a lot of emotional stake in it, and I felt it was fun, lots of action, good drama in it, and it was definitely an episode which I remember and will watch again for sure. It was a really fun episode. The Town Called Mercy, well deserved 5th place. 4th place is Cold War. This is the return of the Ice Warriors. This is one of my most anticipated episodes of season 7, especially when I found out they were coming back. Ice Wars were well done in the original Patrick Troughton era, the classic Doctor Who. So I was really curious to see what the remodel, revamped interpretation was going to be, and they did it solidly well. They brought this character on a submarine, which is an interesting place, very claustrophobic, can't get out of type place. And I like the idea that it's one of the last of its kind, I think it is anyway. And it did some really ballsy stuff. I mean, the writer definitely did not make it safe, make it easy. They did some stuff which I was genuinely not expecting. We actually saw for the very first time what the Ice Warriors looked like underneath their kind of suit of armour, and it actually liked the fact that it slithered around in the ducts and stuff like that, and he was, you know, not a bad person in a sense, not a villain. It was just a soldier that was lost everything. It's been under ice for so much time, and he doesn't know where it is. It's basically just an alien, like E.T. in a sense, you know, doesn't know where it is, what's going on, and it just instantly puts on, like, I'm a soldier, I will defend myself if I have to. And I like the idea of that. It's the Doctor trying to find respect, and it's the idea of that, and he's trying to find, you know, you can show mercy, you don't have not to kill all of us, you can go about your business kind of thing, go about our business. And I felt it was a really well done episode. I felt Clara was a bit more useful in this episode. Up until this point, she was a bit rubbish in a sense of a companion. We didn't find much about her, who she is. But at this point in other seasons, we would have found out, you know, about Billie Piper or, you know, or Rose Tyler and Donna Noble, who they are, a bit more of the actual characters and how they deal with the situation. And we felt a bit more about her and her opinion on the idea of finding an Ice Warrior on a river submarine and what to deal with it in a sense. So I felt it was a really well done episode, well written, emotional episode as well, and just delivered. It was a well done episode. So Cold War, 4th place. 3rd place we go to Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. I felt this was a very fun, very creative, very imaginative episode. It was an episode that was very daring to do. We've never done this in a Doctor Who story before, ever. We've known so much over the show's history with the classic Doctor Who's and the new ones, saying there's been like a pool, there's been a library, there's been this and that, the Eye of Harmony. And this one we got a full chance to explore the TARDIS and how big it is, some of the routes, you know, the idea of the under the TARDIS, you can create rooms and stuff like that. And we find the Eye of Harmony, a different version of it. We find all sorts of places, and it's an adventure around the TARDIS, which is so different for an episode to go into. And I felt it had a lot of good, you know, intention building scenes. There's definitely a mystery villain that we don't know about. There's definitely some worthwhile scenes in it for sure. And I love the acting between the characters, they bounce off each other really well. And I like the idea of the Clara and the Doctor finding more about each other. The Doctor's kind of like, you know, full force saying like, you know, who are you in a sense, you know, you're the girl that I keep seeing over and over again, keep dying, you know, are you actually an imposter, are you a villain, you know, and we just find out more about the characters, and it just adds to the Doctor Who mythology so much, and it's just something that I think every Doctor Who fan will always come back to this episode and relive and just enjoy. The only bad thing was the actual twist they did at the end with the whole it never happened type thing. I felt that was a bit, no, you didn't really have to do that, but I sort of forgived it because I had so much fun with this episode and I had so much enjoyment out of the actual 40 minutes. I let it slide, but they shouldn't have really done that. If they didn't do that, it would have been much higher on the list. But third place, not bad. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, a really well done episode, very fun, excellent story. Okay, so second place is The Name of the Doctor. This is a very well deserved second place episode. Last season of the finale of season 7. This is a crucial episode that they seriously do not want to fuck up, and luckily they didn't. I felt it was a very enjoyable episode. I love the idea of going to the field of Trenzalore, the Doctor's graveside. Very well enjoyable episode. I loved the idea of you know, going to the one place the Doctor does not want to go to, and it just explored so many different themes in it, especially for the Doctor universe. It's just so fantastic, and we get to see some of the classic sets, of course, use some archive footage from the original classic Doctor Who's. It just brings, you know, Doctor Who is a full circle, you know, mixing the classic with the new, and it should do, because at the end of the day, it should embrace it. It's 50th anniversary year, and the last episode is going to obviously connect straight from this episode, and it should do it, and it was a really well done episode. I love the idea, explain Clara, who she is, the impossible girl, going through the different timelines, brought out the great intelligence villain from early on in the season. I love the companions in it, I love the drama, I love the action scenes in it, I love the idea of the actual communication kind of dream state within different points in time. I thought that was quite clever, that just makes sense. I love the ending also, the ending's fantastic, you know, John Hurt as the Doctor, as the mystery Doctor in a sense. It just has so much punch and so much energy into the episode, which I just really, really enjoyed. It's an episode I definitely won't forget. It does have problems in places. It doesn't fall through with some of the things it does. There's one thing which I did not like, was the fact that it killed off Jenny's character, then kind of brought her back magically for no real reason. I felt, no, you should have actually killed a character off. That would have made it a bit more like, ooh, there's a stake, there's a bit more going on. But again, the BBC seem to have the thing in their head now where they can't really kill off a character that well anymore, you know, compared to the last seasons, especially season 7, and they seem to be afraid of killing off characters in the Doctor Who world now, which they shouldn't be, because they did it all the time within the other episodes. So I don't really understand that, but that's my only major complaint in the actual episode, not killing off actual Janie's character and really edge gripping. As a Doctor Who fan, I was on the edge of my seat, especially for the lot of good portions of the episode. So, second place, Name of the Doctor. And first place, my all-time favourite Doctor Who season 7 episode that did it for me, that was absolutely fantastic, that I loved every second of it, is Asylum of the Daleks. This is one of the best episodes, one of the darkest, most cruelest, most daring episodes of season 7 that I've seen. Wow, Stephen Moffat, man, touche, man, touche. It just proves that the guy can write a good episode if there's no limitation. I felt that this was one of the ones they practically said, BBC, I'm going to do this episode, I'm going to do a couple of nice safe kiddie episodes in places here and there, but I want to make this episode, and he did. This brings the Daleks back to full force, brings them back to glory, a good standing again, because at this point we've had basically the Davros story, which is one of the best episodes of the Dalek stories anyway, and then we got some kind of weak ones with the whole Victory of the Daleks, which are a rubbish episode, I think, personally, and then a couple of cameos in season 6, you know, and then of course the Alliance, which is all well done, but it's not just about full-on a Dalek story again. And the Dalek Asylum is a fantastic idea. I love the idea, like, you know, broken Daleks from different points within the history of the show, bringing back the 60s Dalek and all that type of stuff. Really interesting, really, you know, speaks to as a Doctor Who fan, and it's interesting to see kind of Matt's, you know, interpretation of it on screen, because he's never, you know, to kind of face all these Daleks, you know, again, kind of thing is interesting and nostalgic of seeing all the Daleks on the actual planet itself. And I love the drama between Amy and Roy with the divorce. I love the idea it introduces a good mystery streak with Clara being the mystery impossible girl, who is she kind of thing, and then doing a twist like she is actually a Dalek, a human Dalek trapped into it. I felt was like, whoa. nice going there kind of thing. I didn't expect to see that coming, and there's definitely some twists and turns which I just genuinely didn't see coming. And the ending was the most daring of them all, I think, personally honest, basically wiping out the entire history of the Doctor and the Dalek. And at the end of it, they did like, who are you? Don't know who you are. And Doctor Who, leaving it. I think that was daring, seriously daring, and I think a lot of fans did not like that, and I can understand why. You know, it's deleting a lot of history just like that, but I felt there's no way to go. Like, we've had so much stories with the Daleks now about the history of the show, and there's just so much to run out of some of the best ideas, and I think this was the perfect way to kind of maybe end the Dalek story once and for all. And I think, perfectly honest, I don't think I'll be happy now if the Daleks do not appear at all, never again, within the Doctor Who's history, because I think it's past that now. I think it's time for other villains to kind of step up their game in a sense, and I think we've had the Master story finished. I don't think he should come back. I don't think the Daleks should come back now after this story. So I think it was a daring episode. There you go, folks. Until the 50th anniversary special comes, the Day of the Doctor, I'll be doing other videos soon, hopefully more Doctor Who orientated videos. So keep an eye out for those, folks. So meantime, Andrew from Video from Home Game TV. Signing out.